will be director at this school. I want to thank the Newton Company for setting this up, also from the representative from Germany. This is something that's different from the States. We don't have these opportunities to explore colleges from different different countries. My last principalship, we had 600 kids in the senior class going to college. 599 of them stayed in the U.S. So I think this is amazing that you have these opportunities to explore different universities from different countries. So anyway, thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. It's our pleasure to be here. We are very happy to have Andrea here with us today on session studying in Germany. This is the first in a series of sessions that we're planning to host representatives from different parts of the world to tell us about different application processes for different universities in many countries. I want to also really thank AIS West, Dr. Potter, and everyone here. I'm a parent at the school, so it's home for me, but I also found great partners in them when it comes to these information sessions. We've hosted previously sessions here from Harvard and from MIT, and they continue to be great partners and collaborators. And because we at Newton really strongly believe in collaboration, so this is how the idea came about to invite Andrea to come in from Germany. We met 3 years ago. Also in February, we were both on a tour of boarding schools in Switzerland together. And this is how we met and became friends since then, and keep pinging each other every time we have a question for one another. So we thought it would be best to hear from the expert. And Andrea has been working in education for over 16 years. And she is the co-founder of InnoVision Concepts in Germany. And she's the head of the Best Education and Career Unit. So here's a promising title for you. So I'll leave the floor to Andrea. I think we'll cover a lot today, so stay tuned. But if you have questions, I encourage you to write them down or type them. Or also, we're receiving questions on our page, on the Newton Education Services page. So you don't forget if you want to keep track. So welcome again. Thank you for being here. I'll give Andrea the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here in Cairo for the first time. Not in Egypt, but in Cairo. And thank you very much for AIS West and Newton Education Services for having me. It's a really honor to be here. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to the German university landscape. It's not an easy topic for students from abroad, but you will discover with me during this info session. So, what is on our agenda today is why to study in Germany, the different institutions of higher education in Germany, the entry requirements, costs and possible fundings to study in Germany, and an overview of the general application processes. And I will introduce you 2 examples of universities and different entries. So why to study in Germany? First of all, we have really top-ranked universities in Germany, especially when it comes to engineering programs or business programs. We have over 106 universities and altogether over 400 institutions of higher education. What is the difference? You will discover with me later.
We need to raise the voice.
Okay. Then, what else? In Germany, you find globally recognized degree courses, over 10,000 only for undergraduate studies. Then, if you have the visa from Germany as a student, you have the possibility to travel with your visa to 26 European countries because you will have the Schengen visa. So you have the possibility not only to discover Germany, but Europe as well. Then, of course, the affordable costs of living in comparison to other study destinations like France or the UK, and a diverse community. So, for example, in Munich, it's the nearest big city near my hometown. We have already 46% of the population is of foreign descent. So you have a really diverse community. And of course, our strong economy in Germany, and a lot of well-known companies and brands like BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, industry from the chemical or pharma industry, something like that. So you have a lot of possibilities, not only to study high qualified degree programs, but maybe to find a good job, a part-time job as a student to improve your language skills and of course your professional, no, I missed the word, experiences, sorry. So, to discover the German landscape of university is not easy, because university education in Germany is not centrally coordinated, like you maybe know it from the UK. You have different universities and different programs, but the application process is equal and generally set. So in Germany, each of our 6 states has own higher education laws and guidelines. So for example, just to give you an expression, a trained teacher from Berlin does not have automatically a recognition to teach in Bavaria, for example. So you see, it makes it even more difficult when you come from outside of Germany. So the universities are largely self-regulated, which means that if you apply to a university, you have really to look and analyze the application process for the university and program you want to study. And then we have different institutions of higher education. We have our universities. To hold the title of a university, you have fulfilled strict requirements of the governmental body to hold the name of a university. So this is why there is a differentiation between university and University of Applied Science. When you translate it in Germany, you have university, like the University of Munich, or the University of Heidelberg, or the University of Stuttgart. And you find a lot of other higher institutions of higher education which hold the name like Hochschule für angewandte Wissenschaft. It's institution of higher education for applied science. But in Germany, they are not holding the name as a university. So these are really important differences. So the universities, they have a more focus on science and research, and the universities of applied science, they have a more focus on the practical side and a more handed-on orientation approach. So for example, if you apply to a University of Applied Science, it's mandatory to do an internship and to go at least one semester abroad. And a lot of times you have even to prove at least a 6 weeks internship before application. So you see the difference. And then of course we have a lot of private universities which do not hold the name of a university as well. So you mostly find you find here business schools, management schools, law schools, but they will never be labeled as a university. They are labeled like, I can give two examples, European EU Business School or European College. These are 2 private business schools in Germany. The entry requirements for higher education entrance in Germany is a little bit tricky because it depends which diploma you obtain and from which country you are. So to have a direct entrance into a German university, you have to prove that your high school diploma, either it's UK A-levels, IB diploma, or the American high school diploma. They make an evaluation if you are have the right to enter directly into university, and most of the times it's connected to strict requirements. A first source of information for you would be the database of DAAD. It's, when it's translated in German, it's German Academic Exchange Service. So they give a really good overview which diplomas will be recognized for a direct entry to university and which are not. Or you use the database of the Standing Conference of Ministers of Education and Cultural Affairs, and it's called ANABIN. I think maybe some people might know already ANABIN if you are interested to study in Germany. Just for your information, you find the DAAD, they have a branch here in Cairo. So if you need more information on that, it's easily to approach the DAAD for you. So when you apply, we will go into detail a little bit later. The findings might be that your certificate is recognized as a qualification for a direct university admission. For example, if you hold an IB diploma, which follows a strict curriculum, I will go into detail later. The certificate is only recognized as a qualification for subject-restricted studies at a certain range of subjects. For example, if you hold A-levels from the UK, and you have chosen, for example, economics, mathematics, and the social study subject, you might be able to a direct entry for subject-restricted studies in Germany only for business studies, economics, or social subjects. The other finding could be it is only recognized in combination with the proof you have successfully completed 1 or 2 academic years of study in your own country, or is not recognized as a higher education entrance qualification. So I would like to give a short overview of the most common diplomas. So for example, if you go to a school and will leave school with A-levels, you have a good chance to have a direct entrance into the German universities. For this, you have to have at least 4 courses, and out of these 4 courses, 3 at least have to be on the A level, and the 4th subject can be on the AS level. And then we find restrictions. So under these 4 subjects, you have to have 1 language, but not literature and math or a social science subject. And the others are free. Or if you already know what you would like to study, you see the other entrance requirements. For example, if you would like to go into engineering or mathematical study courses, you have to present mathematics on A level and at least 1 of the other subjects on an A level as well. Physics, chemistry, biology, computer science. And so you find the restrictions for every area of study. If you come to natural science, you have to have A levels in mathematics, in biology, chemistry or physics. If you want to go into humanities, law, social science, economics, you have to present on A level at least economics and mathematics. Yeah, like it is here stated. Or if you want to go for medicine, you have to present 3 A levels in mathematics, biology, chemistry, and physics. And then you have a subject restricted entry requirement, a direct entrance to university. Then we have the international baccalaureate diploma, the IB diploma. You have direct entrance into German universities if you present, out of the 6 subjects, you present 2 languages at level A or B, of which at least one is a foreign language as language A or language B, higher level. You have to present a natural science subject, physics, chemistry, and biology. I know that some IB schools offer a science subject as a combination. This is not recognized in Germany. Then you have to present as one of the 6 subjects, mathematics. And it changed last year, so it is given that you have to study mathematical methods or mathematics higher level or further mathematics in conjunction with mathematics higher level. So this you have to fulfill this requirement or these specific courses within mathematics. Then you have to present a social science subject out of history, geography, economics, psychology, philosophy, and so on, business and management. And then you have your 6th subject. You can choose either from the subject groups above, or you can choose the 6th subject out of art and design, music, theater, film, literature, performance, and so on. So there are really strict requirements for the recognition of the IB diploma. And you see, among the 3 higher level subjects, there must be either mathematics or a natural science subject. You have to, all subjects must be done in 2 consecutive years in the IB diploma, and you have to pass every subject with at least 4. If you have one subject with 3, you can substitute it by another subject, but only from the grade 5 up. And you are, you have to get 24 points at least to pass the IB diploma and the entrance requirements for recognition in Germany. Then we are here at an American school. So this is a little bit tricky. It was a little bit tricky for me as well when I prepared for this info session, because there is a specialty. So they make a difference between American high school diplomas you gain somewhere and American high school diplomas you earned here in Egypt. I cannot answer you the question why. I can just assume or guess why it is. So if currently all official institutions say that if you will earn American high school diploma here in Egypt, you are not able for a direct entry into university. You are not allowed for a direct entry in our Studienkolleg. It's the foundation course. So these are the subjects you have to cover: mother tongue, foreign language, natural science, mathematics, and social science, each passed with the minimum grade. If you want to have admission to the foundation program, which is always subject restricted, you have to complete at least 1 academic year in your home country, and then you can apply for the foundation program. You have a direct entry into university, subject restricted, only if you prove 2 successful academic years at a university in your home country. Then you can have a direct entrance, are allowed for a direct entrance into a German university. What I found out so far is that it might be due to the fact that maybe the American schools here issue the transcript in a different way than other American schools. I don't know why, because when I read through the information, it is stated that they make an important note that it's not enough, for example, to have in the 2 transcripts the credits and, for example, the subject like mathematics, but you have to state in specific courses in this subject area. For example, it's not enough to have 3 units, 3 credits in maths. You have to state 3 credits in algebra, 1 or 2, or whatever. So I don't know exactly why there is this exception to high school diplomas in Egypt. But we can maybe talk about it later in our question and answer section. Then you have the Egyptian General Secondary Education Certificate. You have admission to Studienkolleg to the foundation program when you pass 60% of the maximum points or grade. And then you can apply directly to the foundation program. For example, if you are a student from the branch Natural Science, you have direct entry to all courses, which means that you are not restricted to technical study programs or business programs. You can choose whatever you want, but only if you are a student of the Natural Science branch. If you, for example, if you are a student out of the branch Math and Technical, you have a course-restricted entry to Studienkolleg, the foundation program. So you are only allowed for the technical courses. For both branches, direct subject restricted entry to a German university is possible after the completion of one academic year in your home country. So I already talked about Studienkolleg. You can translate it like it's a foundation program. Yes, exactly. So if you are not allowed for a direct entry into university, you will be passed to a so-called Studienkolleg, a foundation program. So, and I think this makes it a little bit tricky to study in Germany. It doesn't matter if you choose a program in English or in German. When your entry qualification is not recognized, you always have to go through this foundation program, and this foundation program is in German. So this makes it a little bit tricky for students from abroad to choose an English program, but of course they have to pass the foundation program in German. So the foundation program, they offer separated courses in accordance to the subjects you want to study later. And you have to pass an entrance exam to prove your German skills, at least B1, then you have to make a preparation course for German language, or at B2, then you are admitted to foundation program directly, and in maths. Foundation program normally is 2 semesters, is 1 year, and after this year you have to pass the qualification assessment examination called Feststellungsprüfung, and when you pass it with success, you have the right to enter university, but not only the university you applied before, you can then choose any university or university of appliance you want. There are public and private foundation programs. If you choose a public foundation program, you usually apply directly to the university you would like to study. You hand in your application documents, and they will give you a response and tell you you are not able to for the direct entry, so please go to the foundation program. And the universities, they have their own foundation programs. Not every university, but there are centers all over Germany where they collect the students for the foundation program. So, public foundation program, you pay the same fees like you pay as a regular student, so currently nothing. But I will come to the fees a little bit later. And then, of course, we have private foundation programs, and they charge you fees. But sometimes the private foundation programs have a lot of advantages. They offer preparation courses in German, for example. So you are already admitted to a foundation program. They give you preparation language courses, and then you make the 1-year foundation program with them. Sometimes they offer a lot of other services. Sometimes they help you with application to a public university. They offer accommodation possibilities. They offer airport transfer, for example. So just to give you an impression, it's public and private. So you can choose whatever you want. So in general, it depends. If you apply to a university or a university of applied science, you typically find these courses. It's called T course, like technical course. It's when you would like to go into engineering, for example. So you have to sit always German. Then math, physics, chemistry, and computer science. Then you have the M course. It's mostly for students who would like to go into pharmacy or medicine. Then you have to do German, math, physics, chemistry, and biology. Or if you choose the W course, then you decide for study programs in business, law, and these subject areas. Then you sit German, math, economics, business, and sociology. The cost description may a little bit vary depending on which university you would like to do your study program. In general, when it comes to language requirements, if you choose a program in English or a bilingual program with German and English, normally they accept these two language tests, the IELTS or the Cambridge English Certificate. Sometimes they accept other tests like the TOEFL test from the US, but you have always to see the entrance requirements of the university you have chosen. Then coming to the language requirements for German. As I told you, even if you go to an English program, you have to pass the foundation program in German. So I think it's very important that you see. We have different tests. There is the DHS test. It's German for University Entrance Test. This test is only possible to sit in Germany, and you have the preparation courses in Germany already. Then we have the test DAF, German as a foreign language. Preparation and test is possible in many countries, like here in Egypt as well. You can sit it with the Goethe Institute. They have preparation programs, and there are a licensed test center, so you can do this test already here in Egypt. Another accepted certificate from the Goethe Institute is the certificate C2. It's for high school students. Both of the last two you can sit here in Egypt. So it's a good question how to prepare. It depends, I think, on your age. We would highly recommend to start as soon as possible to learn the German language. So if you are still have a few years left until graduation, we would suggest summer programs with language schools, for example in Berlin and Munich. They start from the age of 7 up to the age of 17. Or you choose summer camps at boarding schools with German classes, possible in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And of course you can start your language preparation here, as I already told you, with the Goethe Institute here in Cairo. They offer special programs for kids and youth, and of course for the older ones, general courses and prep courses for university entrance. And of course, if you would like to discover the German culture a little bit prior to your entry to university, we have a lot of language and prep courses in Germany with language schools and at universities. Tuition fees. I know that Germany is known for the land of universities with no tuition fees, and this is kind of correct when it comes to public universities or universities of applied science. Currently, with the exception of the state of Baden-Württemberg, for example, University of Stuttgart, University of Heidelberg, it's a really well-known university. This is the only state currently in Germany who charges tuition fees for non-EU students, and it's only in comparison to the tuition fees in the US, only 1,500 per semester. All other universities and universities of applied science in the other states of Germany charge no tuition fees. But you always have to pay the so-called Semesterbeitrag. It's a semester contribution. It depends, it's a between 150 and 300 euros. It depends on the state and the city and the university. And the semester contribution is used to give you a free ticket for public transportation, the free use of all libraries in your city. A lot of other advantages, like you can apply to public student dormitories and special student apartments, or a lot of other advantages like free or cost-reduced entrance to museums and so on. So they charge no tuition fee, but you always have to pay the semester contribution. And in comparison to other European countries, the living expenses in Germany are quite reasonable as well. Officially, the average cost of living for students in Germany is set with 853 euros a month. So with this you pay your rent, food, clothing, activities, etc. And the cost for the health insurance is already included in these 853. I have to tell you, of course, it depends where you would like to study. If you would like to study in Berlin or in Munich, of course, rent is much higher than if you choose a University of Applied Science in a more rural area. So it really depends. But this average cost is set. And why is it set? Because of the blocked account. Normally, if you apply for a student visa to Germany, you have to prove during the visa application process to the German embassy that you are financially stable, which means that the embassy would like to see the amount of 10,236 euros on your blocked account. When you divide it through 12 months, you come to the 853 euros a month. So during the visa application, you already have to prove that you have a blocked account with a German bank, and that on this blocked account you have at least 10,236 euros. Sometimes embassies accept other proof of financial support. For example, if you have friends and relatives, and they confirm that they will take care of you during your stay in Germany, sometimes they make an exception. But normally they want you to prove the blocked account. But the money is not blocked. Once you arrive in Germany and you are registered officially with the local authorities, you go to the bank with your blocked account, and from this time on you are allowed to withdraw a monthly amount of 853 euros to cover your living expenses. For example, if you live in Munich and the rent for your student apartment is much higher than the average, you can apply or ask for permission with your bank to withdraw more than these 853 euros, but it's limited to 1,200. If you need a visa extension, the local authorities have the right to ask for the proof of funds. So if you make a visa extension and they ask for this, you have again to prove a blocked account with 10,236 euros. Not only that, maybe the 850 euros is not enough for the monthly living costs. A lot of students would like to gain experience, work experience in Germany, to improve the language, whatever. So with your student visa, you have a work permit. During your studies, you are allowed to work either 120 full-time days a year. So normally a week is 40 hours of work a week. So for example, if you would like to have the chance to have no job during semester, so you are busy with studying and tests and so on, but you have the right to have a full-time job in your semester break. Usually it's 2 months, so you are allowed to work 120 days as full-time, or if you choose to work all the time, you are allowed to have 240 part-time days, so it's 20 hours a week. This is what a lot of students do. Not only if they apply for student jobs with companies, but they go into service or whatever. The most important thing is when you earn more than 450 euros a month, you are required to pay taxes. But these are the possibilities you have to raise the amount of money you have available during your study. And I think one advantage to graduate in Germany is that with your graduation you have a permission to stay 18 months, 1.5 years, on a job-seeking visa. So you can stay in Germany, you can do a job whatever you would like to do to cover your living expenses, but within these 18 months you have to find a job in accordance to your university diploma. Always the question about scholarships and student loans. Since undergraduate education is cost-free at public universities, you hardly will find a real scholarship to cover all your living expenses during your study in Germany. But there are a few options. It's called Deutschlandstipendium, Germany scholarship. There are scholarships from the DAAD, but most of them do not start prior to your arrival. So you apply to university, you start your study program, and then you can see if you find an appropriate program with DAAD. For example, the German scholarship, it's only 300 euros, but it's a really good program. The German scholarship is a program in cooperation with the German economy. So you can be a tutor with your company, for example. For example, let's take BMW, and they have, for example, 10 scholarships. So you apply for the scholarship, BMW will pay 150 euros a month for you, and the German government will substitute 150 on top, so that you have 300 euros a month extra. I cannot give information about the amount of money for DAAD scholarships because it depends on the programs. Sometimes they offer scholarships only for books or other things, or paid internship or whatever. But the DAAD, they have a really excellent overview of scholarship possibilities in Germany. Then you have a few privately funded scholarships, like from political parties to honor their founders. For example, the party of our Chancellor, Angela Merkel, it's the CDU, the Christian Democratic Party Union, and they have a privately funded scholarship program. It's called Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, our first Chancellor after World War II. So they give scholarships to international students, and you find many of them. Almost every big party in Germany, they have a privately funded scholarship program for German students and for international students. And what I would advise you is, if you are already in Germany, start looking with your university, because they often offer scholarships for international students. Then we have student loans, so which means that you have to pay back after your graduation. But the student loans in Germany are only for students in a higher semester, because, as I told you, tuition-free, moderate living costs. So these students' loans are there to support you, for example, during the last 2 semesters, to give you the opportunity to focus on your studies and your examination. So there are loans from each university, And then it's called Bildungskredit, it's education loan. You can apply to, and you have to fulfill specific requirements. But you have both of these loans you have to pay back after graduation with a monthly rate. The big problem in Germany is, as I already told you at the beginning, there is no general process. Like when you apply to the study programs in the UK, you always go through UCAS. So you have different universities, different programs, but the application process is the same. It's not the case in Germany. So I just would like to focus on the most important things. In Germany, we have 2 intakes. We have an academic year with 2 semesters. So we have intakes for the winter semester. It starts in September and October, and the application deadline is the 15th of July. I know that a lot of parents and students are concerned because if you, for example, leave the high school with an A level, you will not have your results until August. So what to do? In this case, you have to bring a confirmation of the awarding body that you are sitting the exam, your candidate number, the subjects you sit the examination, and the provisional grades. It is very important. It's not a confirmation from your school. It must be a confirmation from the awarding body. For example, if you do the IB diploma, it's not the international school who will issue this confirmation for you, but it is the IBO in Switzerland. So go to your career counselor and to ask for support if you need such confirmation. With this confirmation, you are able to apply prior to the exam results. Most of the study programs start in September and October, but you'll find a lot of programs as well which start in March or April. It's called our summer semester. Then the deadline is the 15th of January. And private universities, of course, have a rolling admission and other deadlines. These deadlines, 15th July, 15th January, only for the public universities. And it doesn't matter if you apply to a university or a university of applied science. Before I come to the important institution during application process, I would like to give you an advice. It's kind of new that in Germany you can pass a test for foreign students called Test AS. It's not mandatory, but good results can improve the chances to being admitted to a German university. It's a standardized aptitude test. You can take it in German or in English. You can do it with Goethe Institute here in Cairo as well. And it gives you information, personal information about your individual ranking compared to other applicants. So I would give the advice to take this test so you have good instrument for self-evaluation. If you have good results, it even improves your chances to get admitted. As I already told you, the application process not standardized, depends on the state, university, and study program. I could only give you the advice. If you know what you would like to study and you have a university in mind, always check the international section of this university, the database of PAAD and ANABIM, so you kind of know already what you can expect, direct entrance, not direct entrance. And then you normally have 3 institutions during your application process. Of course, the university you would like to apply to. Normally you have contact with the international office. You can ask questions, whatever. And then you have to register with the application platform. And then it depends. For example, most of the foreign students have to apply through Uni Assist as well. This is the university application service for international students. So they evaluate your leaving certificate from your high school. But not all universities work with UniAssist. Some universities still work with the local authorities. Every state in Germany, they have a local authority to evaluate foreign qualifications. So you have to see, is your university part of UniAssist or not? And if you apply to admission restricted programs like medicine, pharmacy, to be a vet, for example, or if you apply to a subject or study program with internal restriction from each university, you have to deal with Hochschulstart. It's a foundation of university admission as well. It applies to the German students as well. So I cannot give you an exactly procedure you have to go through. It always depends on the university and study program. I just brought you two examples to demonstrate you. If you, for example, would like to apply to the Technical University of Munich, it's a really well-known, highly respected university with a lot of competition and selective study programs. I have chosen the Bachelor of Science in Management and Technology. The University of Magdeburg is the second example. So this student study program is a really high, appreciated program, not only in Germany but for international students as well, because you can either study in German and in English, or you can choose the English track. So you have to prove the language of you have first to choose the language of instruction, and then you have to apply to the university. For example, if you are a student from Egypt, you apply directly to the Technical University of Munich and UniAssist. If they found out that you are not able to enter directly into university, they will place you at the foundation program of the Technical University of Munich. So as I already told you, in the time during your foundation program, it's like you are a regular student, no tuition fees, only the semester contribution. When you choose this way with a public foundation program, of course they help you, but you have to look for your accommodation yourself, you have to organize airport transport, etc., by yourself. So this is why I have chosen another example. It's the University of Magdeburg. Magdeburg is in the eastern part of Germany. It's an excellent university as well. But for example, if you already know that you have to go to a foundation program, you could choose a private foundation program. And there's one company called Studienkolleg Germany. So what it makes it easier, you do not apply to the University of Magdeburg, you deal with the Studienkolleg Germany, you apply with them. So you send all the application documents to this foundation program, they will pre-evaluate, and then they make the application with the University of Magdeburg on behalf of you, but they charge tuition fees. It's around 5,500 to 7,000 euros for the year, depending on the course. But they offer a lot more service. They organize with you the accommodation. They offer airport transfer. They offer support during the first 3 months, for example. So this is the difference between the public and the private foundation programs. Just to give you an example. If you, for example, decide to go with Studienkolleg Germany and you pass the final exam during your foundation program, you already have a pre-conditional admission to the University of Magdeburg to your courses of choice. Just to make a summary before I end my presentation. So you see, you have to find the area of your studies, the study program. Then you maybe will do an internet research. You choose maybe 3 universities. I can only give you the advice, examine the info pages of the university. Get in contact with the international office to see the different application processes which might apply. For example, there are study programs at the Technical University in Munich with different application procedures. So I just cannot tell you how to do it right. Then start to get more information with Newton Education Services or with the DAAD or with the German Embassy. Most of the German embassies, they have departments for education. So collect as much information that you can get so you get not disappointed during your application process. So this was a quick journey through the entrance to German universities and the application process. So far I thank you for your attention, and we can start, of course, question and answer section.
Okay, we already have some questions for you.
Okay.
We gathered from the audience, but did you want to have a drink of water or something before you
That's
do
it.
a 2-second break?
Yeah.
Now we collected questions from the room, right? And then, obviously, if we have more questions, you're welcome to send them over. We have a question here about the Canadian diploma. Are you familiar with that and what the requirements?
Not in detail, but the Canadian diploma, as far as I know, only the high school leaving diplomas from Ontario, the state of Ontario, are recognized under certain conditions in Germany.
Okay. A lot of questions about the American diploma, obviously, as expected.
Yes.
So, there's obviously general concern about the fact that there's some sort of issue with the American diploma coming out of Egypt. So, do you want to just generally address that first? What you think, because I know we discussed this earlier, what you think the issue might be?
First of all, it doesn't matter if you are here from Egypt or from the United States. The American high school diploma is never recognized for direct entry to university, but for direct entry into the foundation program. And this is what is the great difference, because currently with a high school diploma from Egypt, you are not allowed for direct entry into the foundation program either. So you have to start a study program here, at least 1 year of successfully examination, and then you can apply to the foundation program. So you lose a lot of time. I not only found this information on Anabin or the DAAD platform, I found this information on many web pages of the foundation programs, which give information about American high school diploma. They have an extra section for students from American high schools from Egypt and Saudi Arabia. And it always states that the graduates from American high schools from these countries and areas have no direct access to the foundation program. As far as I can read in between the lines, it might be the case because the transcripts are issued in a certain way. So, but I cannot really tell you. I only, if the interest increases more and more to study in Germany with American high school diploma, I only can advise that the American schools maybe have a joint venture and talk with the DAAD, and the DAAD is maybe able to address a request in Germany with the local authorities, with Anabin, for example, to have an idea why this is the case. Because I can imagine if your schools issue the transcripts like required for the direct entry into the foundation program, it's not a problem anymore. So for me, it's always a thing to discuss with the local authorities, but I think it's more helpful, of course, when the schools address a request to the DAAD, the German embassy, and then it goes to the local authorities in Germany. You have the possibility with the American high school diploma for a direct entry into university when you sit at least 4 AP courses. Then you have a subject restricted direct entry. So I know that some American schools here, or one at least, offer the AP courses. Then you have to sit 4 AP courses, and I'm quite sure if the transcripts are issued in the correct way, the German correct way, then a direct entry, a subject restricted direct entry into university should be possible.
Okay, that was actually one of the questions about accepting American diploma with AP courses, and in that, and you said how many AP courses?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a question here about IB versus American with AP. In your opinion, with
IB
better,
diploma.
yeah, that they have a better chance of getting.
Yes. So in Germany, we have our Abitur, our high school examination. So you have to see that the high school examination in Germany is different in every state. So for example, in Bavaria, my home state, and in Baden-Württemberg, it's said that we have the hardest and most difficult high school examination, and it is said that the IB diploma is much harder than this Bavarian examination, for example. So if you fulfill the subject choices, requirements, then you have direct access, and the authorities are already familiar with IB diplomas, because we have a lot of international schools in Germany as well, so they are familiar with this.
Okay. So there was a question, I think you covered this about the requirements for engineering. If someone is interested in studying engineering and they're graduating from the IB diploma, there are specific courses that they need to have covered, correct?
If you cover the courses I already mentioned,
Yeah.
so you have to have 2 languages, mathematics at a certain level, or certain courses, 1 natural science, physics, chemistry or biology, 1 social subject. Then you have a general admission to university. You can study whatever you want. Sometimes they issue subject-restricted entrance possibilities, but for engineering it would always mean that you have at least mathematics or 1 science at a higher level.
Okay. Great. A question about ID certificates. Are they recognized at all?
The IB diploma, yes, but everything below IB diploma, not.
No, we need IB certificates, you know, here in the IS, there is some kind of a mix. You take the American diploma, but you have the option to choose one of the subjects, and you apply for the IB in this subject only. You can take like 1, 2, 3,
No.
4, but it's not
Only-
the full American, the full IB.
Yeah, only the full IB diploma with 6 subjects, 3 higher level, 3 standard level.
Okay, there's a lot of questions coming in. Question about, is the foundation year in German?
Yes.
All right, and then...
So it's a must. So it's a must to be in German now.
Yes, all state recognized foundation programs, either if they're private or public.
C level, you said it's C2 or B1 or B2?
Entrance
C1 to B2.
is B2. It's hard.
I'm not German.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I can give an advice. If I know that the entrance requirements for the language is really hard. So, for example, my advice would be you start with a bachelor program outside of Germany, and then you apply for a master's degree. Because if you can prove a 4 years bachelor program from a recognized, state-recognized university, you have the right for entrance to master's program. And then you can do it in English. So you don't have to go through the foundation program in German. So you start right away in the English language program. Could be a possibility, and even if you have a master's degree, then from a really well-known German university, an engineering degree is maybe more worth than a bachelor's degree.
Okay. So we have a question also about the SAT. Is the SAT required? What would the score be? And is SAT 2 required?
Until last year, high school diploma with SAT at a certain level was recognized as a subject restricted entry for university. Since 1 year, the Germany does not acknowledge SAT or ACT tests for direct entry.
Okay. But
only the
they-
AP courses.
Only the 8. Okay. Okay, we have a special sort of question, a long question here about the. There's a set of schools in Egypt called the Nile International Schools, Egyptian schools, and they're relatively new, and they issue a certificate that's different from the IB and the IG and the regular Egyptian certificate. So I'm not sure if the German universities already have requirements for these schools. Are they aware of that certificate? Should they check with?
Do you already know which certificate they issue?
It's a certificate. It's a specific certificate that is for this school. It's not.
Okay. I
It's
think
a new certificate.
yes, I think that then the German authorities are not aware of this.
So
They will start an evaluation. So if the first student apply with this leaving certificate, I think it's worth a try to apply. So Uni Assist or the local authorities for recognition of foreign qualification, they will evaluate. So you have to hand in maybe the last 3 transcripts or the transcript of the last 3 school years. So they make an examination. What is the standard in maths? What is the standard in foreign language? What is the standard in science?
okay. Okay, there's a question here about GUC, right, the German University in Cairo. I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's a question about if there's any collaboration between GUC and the university in Germany, universities in Germany.
I really don't know
And if
because
they could transfer it like seamlessly from GUC to university in Germany, or from AUC to a university in Germany, the American.
I have to make a difference between transferring students who would like to finish their studies in Germany and students who come maybe with an exchange program like the DAAD. If you come with the DAAD, I think it's much easier to spend 1 or 2 semesters at a German university. If you're coming to Germany in order to finish your studies, you have to undergo the same procedure when you are in your bachelor's program than any first semester. So you have to prove your high school entrance qualification, and if it is not recognized, you have to go back to foundation program.
Okay, so if someone has holds the IB diploma, and so they're going to go directly into a university and they're applying to a university where English is the language of instruction, do they still need to do German as a language?
I know from some countries and some German embassies that with the application for a student visa you have to prove German at an A1 level, for example, so that you kind of can navigate through daily life.
Okay, so this is not a university requirement, but it may be an embassy requirement,
Yes.
or visa requirement.
Yes.
More of the same questions. Do you graduate with the same type of certificate from different types of universities? Are they all bachelor degrees, or are there different
No.
sorts of...
At the public, we have to make a difference. If you go to a public university or University of Applied Science, it's all bachelor's degree and all master's degree follow the same regulation. And what is very interesting, I think, is that the bachelor degrees follow European rules and guidelines. So if you finish your study program, a bachelor program in Germany, it is recognized in France, in Spain, whatever. I was supposed to say the UK, but they are leaving the EU.
They left.
Yeah.
Okay. Question here, if German universities give priority to programs like the IB over the GCSE, for example, the British.
With the British, you always have the possibility for direct entry depending on the courses you have chosen for your A levels and AS levels. So it's almost the same as an IB. And what I was supposed to say in addition, if you finish with a private university, either we have state-recognized private universities, and then they have to fulfill the entry requirements like a public university, or you start with a business school, for example, and the awarding body is, for example, a university in the UK. It's different. You can apply with an American high school diploma, you can apply with an IB diploma, but not fulfilling the requirements in your subject choices. So they are more free if the awarding body is, for example, a university in the UK. And the other advantage is when you go to a private university, so the tuition fees at private universities in Germany is around, I would say, between 6,000 and 9,000 euros per semester, but then the language of instruction is English.
Sorry, I lost track of the question. A question here about deadlines. The question is, since the deadline of January 15th has passed, does this mean that seniors have no opportunity to study in Germany now? If they're applying for September, they could still...
Yes, they are right in time for the application period to start in winter semester, means end of September, beginning of October. And I think it is the best time to start, because the academic year is always winter semester, summer semester. But some universities offer entrance into summer semester. A lot of study programs you can only start in winter semester either.
Okay.
So it's the right time.
Okay. Here's an interesting question about German universities focusing on math and science, as you mentioned during the presentation. And so someone is asking, does that mean that students who want to major in humanities and social sciences should not consider Germany as a good study or a good match for a study destination?
We have two kinds of universities, not only the differentiation between university and University of Applied Sciences, but universities sometimes have a special focus. At a university like a University of Heidelberg, you find all kinds of programs. But when you choose a technical university, you typically find always subjects, technical related subjects, engineering related subjects. So of course you can start with humanities or social science or languages, it's not a problem.
Okay. Are there any universities only in English? There are, right? Like where the language of instruction is?
Only the private one. So if not, at public universities you'll find study programs in English, but of course the language of your environment will always be German.
Yeah, but you mentioned that the University of Munich you can choose either English or German.
Yes, but it's
a public university.
It's a public. Yes, this is what maybe it was a misunderstanding. Our public universities, they offer specific study programs. There are not many, but they start to increase the study programs taught in English. But when you choose a private university, most of the time there are English-speaking universities, the private ones.
And for the complete list of the public universities where there are English programs, is it under that?
For example, you could use a DAAD platform. You can, for example, choose bachelor's program, language of instruction, English, field of area of study, engineering, and then you will have a lot of suggestions to study engineering for bachelor's in English and German.
Okay, how many years after the foundation year? Like once you're done with foundation year, how many years?
You start
do
the regular bachelor, and it's normally 3 years, 6 semesters.
About requirements for dentistry.
Like all medical professions, it's a entry restricted profession. You always have to apply through this Hochschulstart. Every student has to do it, the German as well, because you cannot apply to a university directly. You apply to Hochschulstart. You give 3 or 5 choices of universities, and where you get a place, where you will be placed, is up to Hochschulstart and the universities. Of course, they evaluate your application and so on. But the entrance requirements concerning your average grade is really high. So, for example, with American high school grades, I do not know. I know it's 1.0 in our German grade, and it would be approximately 43 IB points. So it's really, really high. We even we have a lot of applications, but not every applicant gets a place to study medicine, dentistry, or the vet profession.
Okay. And requirements for business management and marketing, like those sorts of majors. Are they any
First
different?
of all, it's always the critical point is your the recognition of your high school leaving diploma. If you have, for example, the A levels, you have to match with certain subjects like economics, business, mathematics.
Okay, there's a question here. What is the case if you have an EU passport but you're graduating with an American diploma from here? Does it make a difference?
No.
It's where the school is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those questions we already answered. Does the German language requirement differ from program to program, or is it the same
No,
requirement?
it's the same. You sit always the same German test, the recognized German test, or get a language test from the Goethe Institute, for example, and you have to match the language skills according to the European framework of German languages.
Okay. If you fulfill all the requirements, are you guaranteed admission to your university of choice?
It depends if your subject of choice is admission restricted or not. If it is admission restricted, it depends maybe on your average grade, or if you can prove some work experience, or if you pass the entrance exam of this specific university. But there are a lot of subjects who are not admission restricted, and then you have a place guaranteed.
Okay. Does a student with the C1 language proficiency have higher chances in getting accepted or getting a scholarship?
Accepted, you have to just pass the given language tests. Wrong direction. So these are the recognized language tests. You have to pass this language test for direct entry. This is the only requirement, and for scholarships, I I cannot exactly say, to be honest, if it makes a difference, if you already can prove, because you only can start your study program when you prove your language skills with these standardized language tests.
Okay. Oh, this is suddenly working. Okay, now too loud. Okay. About a question about the student visa process. So, what are the steps if that means after they get accepted, that they apply for the student visa and have to block the 10,000 euros and all that?
Yes.
These are the regular steps.
You have to start it kind of parallel, the same time. You should do it. For example, it takes around 2 to 4 weeks to settle your blocked account, but you have to bring the proof of your blocked account to your visa appointment. So I don't know how it is here in Egypt, but in some countries you have a long waiting time to get your application interview at the embassy. Sometimes it's 3-4 weeks. So you should kind of coordinate all the different steps. But you need the letter of acceptance for the application, so this would be the first step, to apply, then see the results, and then take care of your blocked accounts, collect all the required documents, and fix your interview date with the German embassy. Because I think all German embassies started to give appointments through internet. So normally you cannot walk into the German embassy and say, I would like to apply for a student visa. You have to first fix an appointment through the online system.
Okay. Recommendations. What's your recommendation for the highest ranking business school in Germany?
Private?
I guess. Yeah, but is there a specific school that you would recommend, or is ranked as the highest ranking business school in Germany?
For the public, I cannot tell you. I would just go like with the global ranking of this university. But I think the most recognized universities, for example, the University of Heidelberg, the universities in Munich, like the Ludwig Maximilian University, in short LMU, or the universities in Berlin. And maybe as well Frankfurt, because Frankfurt is the financial hub of Germany. So where you have all the banks, international banks, and services around banking and finance.
Okay. Same question for architecture. Private universities that offer architecture.
I do not know a private university for architecture, but if you focus on architecture, it's worth a look to have a look on the technical universities and the other highly ranked universities. University is not so much in ranking because we have different. There are different institutions who issue or give rankings, so it depends. Sometimes it really depends what you would like to make with your qualification. If you are more science focused or more practical focused. So if you are more on the practical side, I always would like to recommend a University of Applied Science, because you have the work experience together with your academic studies.
I think we pretty much answered all of the questions that we received so far. I don't know if we got some more.
There are some questions here.
Sorry, one more I got here on AP scores for the 4 AP courses. What's the minimum score required? Do you know?
Just to pass it.
Just to pass the AP.
Yes.
I think it's at 3. I was looking on the internet.
It's a 3.
I think it's at 3.
But, so that is the
For
passing.
Germany, 3. No,
usual
Germany
pass.
requires a minimum score of 3, which is actually passing.
It
yes.
is passing
Yeah.
score, yeah. So then you have a question, right?
Yes. Regarding the private universities, do they offer foundation year in English program, or
Excuse me?
regarding the private universities, do they offer foundation year in English language?
Yes, they offer English programs. Most of the private universities in Germany, they offer courses, bachelor programs in business management, international management in these courses, or combination of management and law.
That which is referring to the foundation.
But
The
she's asking
foundation,
if
yeah,
the
the
foundation
foundation
year
year.
is in English or not.
No foundation year. For the private universities, yes.
So
You're
then-
right.
So
If-
then I have
Yes,
another
if you
one.
apply to a state-recognized private university, you have to fulfill the requirements, but of course they offer a foundation program like the universities in the UK in English.
So after taking the foundation year in English in private university, can my daughter transfer to a public
No.
university in English?
No, it's not possible.
هي فكرة حلوة. هي عجبتني الفكرة دي. مصرية. فكرة مصرية.
عجبتني على كده اكتر سؤال بنات سمعته النهارده.
أيوة بجد. حتى كلنا عايزين نعمل كده.
It depends if the school is state recognized, but I think it's quite difficult that public universities will accept a foundation from a private university.
So it's an equal program.
Yeah.
So there's a question from here.
You said earlier that maybe the university studying in English, they don't, and they must not require the German. Maybe the embassy for the visa, they are strict in requiring the German language. What if the child, the student, they don't need a visa? They for entering Germany. Do they require also
No.
the German
No.
language?
No.
Then they can enter with
Yes.
the
Yes.
okay, without going for the German studying.
But it
language.
depends if you are allowed to enter with no visa. Sometimes it's restricted for tourism or it's restricted to 90 days. It depends which nationality you speak about. For example, all European nationalities can enter Germany whenever they want without proof of German language skills, of course. But if you have, for example, if you are Brazilian, you can enter Germany without visa and
We're British now, we're out of the EU, but I think
yes, we have to wait what it will bring.
yes, if they know what.
Yeah, it's a difficult question, the UK German thing.
So, if we're studying the foundation year in English and the rest of the years in English, so why do we need the German test?
I cannot answer you. I can't understand it either. So, because the foundation program, the public foundation program was established a long time ago when German universities didn't offer English programs at all. So this is just a regulation, and I think maybe it will fall during the years, but currently if you go to the public universities and you need to sit the foundation program, the state recognized foundation programs are always in German.
Thank you so much for a very informative session. I have a question. So students, after they finish their BA degrees in Germany, are these degrees accredited automatically here in Egypt by the Supreme Council of Universities? Or also, if they want to finish in the States or master degrees or any other country in the world, are these degrees, I guess the answer is yes, but I just want to make sure. Are these
Yes.
degrees, first of all, accredited here automatically by the Supreme Council of Universities?
I have no information that there is an exception of the rule that they are recognized. Because they follow a really strict curriculum and system of credit points, and as far as I know, I do not know an exception of the rule that, for example, a bachelor's degree from a German university is not accredited or acknowledged for a master's or even for entrance into work life.
It's the same يعني like
Andrea said it is recognized. هو في بس process إنه once you get the certificate you will need to go هنا لما ترجعي أو لما student يرجع لل DAAD to sort of get it like certified يعني authenticated and then go to the Supreme Council of Universities. But
have to spend 4 years there with foundation.
Okay.
They go directly.
Including the foundation year, yeah.
Including foundation.
Yeah.
They have to be 4 years.
Okay.
Otherwise, you
I think the best place to confirm this is the AAP, and I think you need to check with them on the process. وعادة بيبقى بعد يعني right after that, this is when you can take the certificate to the Supreme Council. But يعني double check with them since there might be a duration requirement.
Just to streamline the questions easier, if you would like to send it over to this number over WhatsApp, it will be much quicker. However, if you want to still ask your question over the microphone, that's also possible, but this will be much quicker. I think we have a question here, and then here, and then here, and then there.
Thank you very much for the session. I just have a question for clarification and confirmation of what I understood. Is there a way for an international student and not an Abitur student to apply directly for university and skipping foundation year? Is this a possibility with an IB? Full
IB diploma, when you fulfill the subject requirements I have stated in my presentation, you have direct access to university. If you are an A-level student and you have a direct access as well, if you present 3 subjects on A-level and 1 subject on A-S level, but it's subject restricted. If your subjects of choice are in social studies, economics like this, you get admission to only these subject groups at the university.
Okay. And in this case, do AP courses help?
On the AP course,
extra?
The AP courses help if you will obtain an American high school diploma.
But they don't in case of the full IB.
If you are an IB student, you have to prove that you follow the IB program 2 consecutive years with the given subjects. When you fulfill the requirements for the IB diploma, there is no extra if you present AP courses. You're already able for direct entry.
I have a question regarding, it was asked before, but I didn't understand it actually. Regarding the German language, if you already know the German language and you have an EU passport speaking Germany or Austrian passport, do you still have to do the level test for the German language, or are you exempt?
It depends. For example, in the German students who will graduate with an IB diploma and they have not taken German as a language, they have to prove the German language as well. So it doesn't matter if you hold an EU passport. If you would like to study in German, you know the German language, maybe because the family language is German, but you graduated from with the IB diploma here from Cairo.
So I still have to give, I still have to apply with a certified or whatever.
Yes.
Thank you.
But I mentioned that I forgot maybe important information. You have the possibility with the Goethe Institute here in Cairo to do the foundation program here in Cairo in cooperation with the Technical University of, Nelly, please help me, Berlin? Technical University of Berlin? Yes, you.
Online or what?
No, they're in Buna.
Yes, so it's, I think it's restricted to the foundation program for technical study programs and business-related programs. You can sit here or take the foundation program here in Egypt.
Regarding the Goethe Institute,
We have a question here, Andrea.
Study German over the years, so and then we get the exams officially here in the school in coordination with the education. How can we do something like this? We have it within the school in agreement with the same curriculum exams.
Yes. You have to talk with the Goethe Institute if you find a cooperation with the schools. If not, they already offer programs for children and teenagers.
Another question here, please.
I would like to thank you for being here, and I would like to ask you if UK Foundation EU programs are recognized in Germany. Are UK Foundation EU programs recognized in Germany?
No.
Okay, thank you.
There's a question about universities for cinema and theater design.
We have a few good arts-related universities, even some special universities for arts. And media is covered with normal and general universities.
Excuse me. Right here. Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to ask if distinguished between private and public.
I will come to you because I cannot hear you.
During the presentation, you distinguished between private and public universities.
It depends. Public university offer excellent programs. I think when you would like to attend a private university, you always have to see if it is important for you to have a state-class university. For you, you should see who is the awarding body. For example, a university in the UK, and when you go about business schools, you should look at which accreditation this university has. Yes, we have programs of international relation at the public universities. Yes. I'm not aware of it if we have one in English language, but I think there's a good chance that international programs will be offered in English at some universities.
And the majority of the schools in Germany, they require B2 and nothing higher, for the German language.
For the entrance to the foundation program. If you would like, if you have the possibility for direct entry, you have to follow the German recognized tests. Test DAF, PSH, or the certificates from the Goethe Institute.
And the certificates from the Goethe Institute, it would be at
It's B2 level.
or C2 level.
Small follow-up question specifically regarding the German language. For German-speaking students, I mean students who study German partially in the German school and then they transfer schools. Are they required, for example, just to translate whatever school reports they have from the time they spent at school, and would they be exempted from the C2 or C2 exam, or?
As I explained prior, normally even German students who attended an international school in Germany are required to take language tests if they cannot prove German at, for example, higher level for the diploma. Even the German students have to prove their German skills sometimes, but I cannot generalize. Sometimes the universities find other ways to make certain that German-speaking students have the right level. But normally it's really a formal way you have to go through and pass the language test as well. It's not sufficient if you, for example, submit transcripts from primary education in German. It's not sufficient.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we have further questions that came over WhatsApp. So,
Sorry, we'll take a few more and then we will have to wrap up. There's a question About the presentation, yes, we can send the presentation. Yes, we can do that. Yes, sure. Okay, here. Okay, this is a specific question about a student who tried to apply to schools in Berlin. And because it's a multicultural city, that is easier to coordinate than using the English language. Unfortunately, they only found one public university that offers business, but only 40 students would be English speaking. For private, I found a few, but with small number of students and small campuses. Would you recommend a university in Berlin for business in English?
I cannot recommend one because it depends on what is your aim with your degree. I think all of the private universities and business schools, if they have a recommended awarding body in the UK or accredited with known institutions and associations, it's worth to give a try for the private universities. And like I said, the number of English programs at public universities is growing. So definitely I cannot give a recommendation to. I think that the question is coming from someone who is already very experienced
in the
what
process.
the Berlin universities offer.
Okay, a general question about your differentiation between private and public universities throughout the presentation. Would you speak to a difference in quality, or is it just a matter of the private have fees and the public are?
Yes. So we have a lot of private universities in Germany who are state recognized. For example, the International School of Management in Munich, or the IUBH, the International University of Applied Science in Bonn. They even have campuses and branches all over Germany. They are state recognized, but then the entrance requirements are the same. But sometimes these private universities, although they are state recognized, offer English foundation programs. But this will only mean that you can study at this university with a foundation program, not transferred, like mentioned before, transfer then to a public university. My recommendation is maybe you start with a private university, earn a good bachelor degree, and then apply to a master's degree or an MBA, whatever, at the German public university.
A question about citizenship again. If the student is a US citizen, do they still need to pass German for the visa?
It's a very specific question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think if
Probably,
so,
yes.
if so at a very low level, if they want to study English, if they want to study German, they have to, of course, fulfill the requirements for the English test.
We're pretty much done, unless there are more questions in the room. Anyone else?
Yeah, just one last question. For the BAED, if somebody needs to know more about the types of universities, if my kid is into astrophysics or into a specific type of medicine or architecture, would they be able to advise which type of universities we should target and apply for? Because there are hundreds. Is this
First, you have the database, and as far as I know, the DAAD here in Cairo, they offer a university counselor.
So they can have.
I have no experience with their counseling department, but this is what I saw on their internet page. They offer university counseling.
Hey, I'm asking about the Masters of Cinema Theater. I searched a lot, but didn't find the university in English. I'm not a German speaker. What's the best university that I should study? Sorry, I'm graduated from a university for cinema theater. So So I want to meet my master.
تمام تمام سمعت تيجي بقى لا لا تسيب
I have, sorry, one last question that came in, and this is really the last question. For the AP courses for engineering, what are the actual courses that are required? Are there specific subjects in AP, math, and the science?
Normally, if you choose a technical orientated program, you should have to prove math, physics, chemistry, and maybe if you have a computer science or something like that at university.
Thank you. I think we'll have to wrap up because Andrea has been speaking for 2 hours non-stop. So I want to thank you all for coming and for your time. I want to thank Andrea a lot. I think this was a helpful, useful session. And for anyone who wants the presentation, if you could send us your email address on this same number, and we will send out the presentation. Thank you all so much for coming. We look forward to seeing you in future sessions. Thank you.
Thank you.